Let yourself inquire into yourself. Who am I? Who am I really? And the strange truth is that very few human beings actually know who they are. We certainly know about our personalities, and we know about our thoughts, we know about our feelings, we know about our identity, like what race we come from, or what nationality, or what religion, or what we're male or female, or tall or short. I tend to be good at these things and not so good at these things, and I have this history of good experiences and traumatic experiences. That's what we say if you ask somebody, who are you? It's all that. But that is actually not who you are. Those are a collection of experiences and traits and learned behaviors and beliefs and indoctrinations. And as one teacher said, it's domestication. Like we do to farm animals, we domesticate them so they'll just serve the needs of humans. So we've been domesticated into a set of beliefs. So if you put all that aside, who are you? This would be a great time to ask that. If you're not all those identities, then who are you? And of course, if you're from the New Age spiritual movement, you can have an intellectual belief. Oh yes, I am the true self. I am God. So what I'm really saying here is that if you ever feel that you're looking as a bystander at what's going on in our country or in the world or in your personal life or in your finances, that's a big one a lot of people stress about, or in your relationships, and you're just feeling, wow, I'm just observing and I'm worried this is not going to go the way I want, or it's going to go in a bad direction. That just means you're not knowing who you are in that moment. It means you're not connecting with your true self, because your true self doesn't have to worry about what's going to happen, doesn't have to look at it's the most important question we could ask. Who am I? What am I? And one thing I certainly believe very strongly is that you and I are something that is much more powerful than what we believe we are, than that set of identities we believe we are. And we have access to unlimited power, unlimited resourcefulness, unlimited love, unlimited what we'd call miracles, if we just believed we did, if we stopped being domesticated like a farm animal, or like a house cat or a house dog or something. Of course, cats are hard to fully domesticate, but you know what I mean. Circumstances say, I'm sort of a helpless leaf blowing in the wind and I sure hope it goes. No, you're in charge. You're the creator of your life. And again, I honestly believe that the reason that the election day went the way it did is because many millions of people, if not billions, were holding a vision of that. And it created this amazingly powerful field that all the shenanigans and cheating and corruption and manipulation was much weaker than that, so it couldn't do anything that day. And so here's the thing, like moving forward from this day, there's a lot of different things that could happen here in the United States. There's one term that a lot of people who are into consciousness use called timelines. And timelines means a certain path of how things will manifest based on certain thoughts and creations. There's many timelines that could range from just sort of an average day to a day that feels difficult and kind of low energy and not so productive, to a day that's just like miraculous and so many wonderful things happen and I just feel really alive. And this is true for any of us. Any of us can have all these different outcomes because there's all these different potential paths from each moment going out in front of you. And it's not predestined which path you'll go on. And there's even in quantum physics, they even have a whole system called the many worlds principle, which is one of the primary theories of quantum physics that actually says this, that people have done mathematical equations that they claim demonstrates that from each moment, a whole series of different universes are created and they all exist in parallel. And what we call reality is just the one we happen to inhabit. And we don't know about those other ones, but they exist in their own dimensional state. Now that's pretty heavy stuff, or that's pretty wild stuff. But I feel like it's true. So there are timelines where the worst case scenario happens. Let's say, civil war, destruction, violence. We destroy our planet with global warming by not dealing with global warming, and things get worse and worse, and it becomes this nightmare totalitarian state. Okay, that's one timeline. There's another timeline where just from this moving forward from this election, things lighten up, they get better. There starts being more unity between all these polarized factions, and just more common sense things start being done to undo a lot of the damage, and people start coming together and rolling up their sleeves and making this country better. And all over the world, people do that. And a lot of the hidden controllers behind the scenes that have been manipulating our economy and our power just find they don't have a welcome audience to manipulate anymore. And a lot of them end up going to prison or whatever it is, whatever has to happen. That's another timeline. So do we have to sit back and go, I sure hope it goes? No, we don't have to hope it goes that way. You are a creator being. You are a master healer. You can choose that and see it. Just see it in your mind, already done. And when you and the millions of other people who are light workers of this world, or billions, are doing that, it's an unstoppable field. So this is what I'm feeling. I feel very little fear or anxiety anymore about any of this, because this has really gone into my gut that I don't have to wait to see what's going to happen. I can help create what's going to happen. And it's not my ego self, like the part of me that has a lot of political opinions. Like I grew up more my parents were Democrats, so I identify more with that. It's even beyond that. No, it's not about one faction. It's about being a master healer, about being the Christ in human form. And actually being a Christ in human form is a very ordinary thing, because everybody is that. It's just that we don't acknowledge that. We have a lot of beliefs that keep us from acknowledging that. So I'd like to invite you just to join with me to experience this right now. I just said a bunch of words and ideas and thoughts. So I'm just going to bring you on a guided meditation. You can imagine that you're seeing the earth in front of you, the globe of the earth. Just a really beautiful earth. You can just see the blue oceans and the brown land and the mountains and the valleys, and see rivers, different areas, and there's the whole clouds floating over different parts of the planet. And then the distance behind, you can see stars and other planets and galaxies in the background. And there's Earth. Beautiful, beautiful planet. And then imagine that there is a huge pillar of violet flame light that just appears. And it's such a big pillar that the whole earth is held within this pillar. It surrounds the earth, and it goes above and below it from the North Pole and the South Pole. And this violet light is transforming anything that's not of truth. It's transforming the dark side of human experience, so that people can regain the energy of their dark side for good purposes, instead of having it walled off and repressed and afraid of it. Just take it back as juicy, emotional, like rich living, as pleasure, as joy, as a full expressed life. And so that happens within each one of us, like our own dark side, our own denied parts that we judge and feel ashamed of, or whatever that is, that we start accepting that energy, accepting it as value, bringing it back to ourselves, and our life just gets richer and more successful and more fun and more sensual and more spiritual, and all those. And then because individuals are reclaiming this dark side energy for the light, societies start changing. More and more people just sort of wake up out of this dream of being like a mouse on a treadmill, and just start like going, whoa, there's some work needed here. I'm going to get involved in helping to make this world a better place, and come together with other people and do that. And not only that, but I have a dream. I have something that I've been so excited about doing, or creating a new business or a new skill or a new relationship or whatever it is. And for some reason I was thinking I couldn't have it, but now I know I can have it. I'm just going to start creating that. more of that starts dawning in people's consciousness. And the cynicism we have about governments are just so corrupt all the time, and there's all these conspiracies going on about how evil everything is, and like all this stuff we say, okay, this stuff has been going on, and we're going to put an end to it now because there's 8 billion of us, and there's only a small handful of people that have been doing a lot of these so-called conspiracies, and we're not going to let them do it anymore. And then each person on earth has this superpower, something that's like a godlike power that they have given, and there's no exceptions. Of the 8 billion people on earth, there's no exceptions. Every one of them has a superpower, and because of maybe cultural upbringing or different roles in the family or repression or fear or whatever it is, maybe many people haven't been tapping into their superpower or judging it or fearing it or misusing it, and that starts changing. And everybody finds as they use their superpower for good, their lives prosper and things around them get better. And whatever the problems, no matter how bad the problems are, they start realizing that we can deal with this. We can come together and solve them. So this is one of the timelines I'm talking about. This is not pie in the sky. This is something we actually can create. But we can't do it through complacency. Yeah, that's the crossroad we're at, that this time moving into this year 2021 could be the time where all those things I said start really happening more and more and more. And whatever your dream is or your vision is, that starts happening more and more. And you start doing the thing you've always wanted to do that maybe were afraid to do or didn't think you could do or thought you were too old to do or didn't have enough money to do or whatever it is. You just start doing that because your soul power tells you can. And because you do that thing, more and more people are blessed and benefited, and it just keeps increasing. There's this old saying that we've all heard many times, that evil triumphs when good people do nothing. So there's some application of that for this too. Now, even the people we may think of as doing a lot of evil, and there are plenty of them on earth now, they don't have all the blame for their evil. They have a lot of it, but all of us have a lot of blame for being complacent and not claiming our power to create the good, to create our visions and dreams. It creates a vacuum, and then people that want to do evil have space to do their thing. So it's a shared responsibility. They have a lot of responsibility for doing the things they're doing, which, wrecking the environment or abusing children and misusing money, stealing, and all that kind of stuff. But if you had an empowered populace, these people would have no way to do any of that stuff. So I feel like this is a time to take responsibility for the power we have in this situation. There was this, I know in the 1960s, I saw these bumper stickers that said, "What if they gave a war and nobody came?" I always loved that one. What if they gave a war and nobody came?